This is the best pizza you can make in just a few hours. It's got an easy handmade pizza dough, a simple but delicious pizza sauce, and it can all be done in a few hours. By the end, you'll have a delicious pizza that sounds and looks like this. First, the dough. For our pizza dough today, we're going to start with 300 grams of a strong bread flour into a large bowl. By the way, this recipe makes two 12-inch pizzas, so adjust the recipe as needed. Add 7 grams of salt to the flour and whisk that together until combined. In a separate bowl, we're going to add 200 grams of warm water, ideally between 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, because we're going to need to bloom our yeast before we mix it in with our dry ingredients. Into the water goes a teaspoon or 6 grams of white granulated sugar, and finally 5 grams or half a tablespoon of active dry yeast. Stir that together until the sugar and yeast are combined and let that sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to confirm that our yeast is in fact still alive and will help our dough rise. You'll know you're good to go when there's a layer of foam on top just like this. Once we know our yeast is ready to rock, add in a tablespoon of olive oil and then pour all of your liquid ingredients into the dry ingredient bowl. From here, we're going to use our hands to combine everything until it turns into a shaggy ball of dough, and then begin kneading for gluten development. We're going to hand knead this dough for about 5 minutes or until we have a smooth-ish ball of dough. If you have a stand mixer, throw your dough ball in along with a dough hook and mix on low speed for about 5 minutes. Otherwise, keep kneading and shaping your dough ball. It's going to start to get smoother and less sticky over time. We're not going to have that window pane level of gluten development yet, so we need to rest our dough in an airtight container for at least 30 minutes and come back later and start another round of kneading. We don't have the luxury of time to cold ferment this dough, so we're going to create more gluten by kneading. After 30 minutes, our dough will have almost doubled in size and we can start our second round of kneading. Just like before, all we need to do is work the pizza dough until it gets tight and the dough starts to spring back. 5 minutes of kneading will work for this. Then cover again and rest for 30 minutes. You can repeat this step 1 to 2 more times to develop even more gluten. Any more than that and the benefits diminish after each additional round of kneading. Here we have our dough rested after 3 total rounds of kneading, and as you can see, the window pane test is a success without any tearing. This will give us a chewy and crispy texture and help to avoid rips when we stretch out our pizza dough. The last thing we're going to need to do is divide our dough into 2 even pieces. Each dough ball should get us a nice 12 or 13 inch pizza. We're going to tighten our dough balls by cupping our hands together and making a circular motion while gently pressing downward on the table surface, which is going to push the dough inwards and help us achieve a nice even rise. Cover your portioned dough balls in an airtight container again and let these dough balls rest on the counter for at least an hour and up to 4 hours. If you're not planning on eating pizza in the next 4 hours, store your dough in the fridge to cold ferment until it's dinner time. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, why not help this small cooking channel by giving this video a like and commenting down below? It really helps the channel out, so I appreciate it in advance. Our dough ball has been resting on the counter for about 2 hours and it's basically doubled in size, letting us know that they're ready to be stretched out and turned into pizza. The next item we need to cover is sauce, which we're going to make from scratch, which is a lot easier than you think and adds a ton of originality to your homemade pizza. We're going to start with a 16-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. To those tomatoes, we're going to add in a teaspoon of sugar to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes, 1 tablespoon of olive oil for richness, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and a handful of torn basil. And finally, but I have to tell you that this is optional depending on how much sodium is already added to your can of tomatoes, a pinch of salt. Give everything a mix, and if the flavor seems muted, add that pinch of salt and mix to combine. This pizza sauce is so simple to make, but has so much flavor in it. Finally, let's talk cheese. First, I recommend a full-fat, low-moisture mozzarella for the best flavor and browning. But if you can't find that, get the driest mozzarella you can find. We don't want that watery, fresh mozzarella that's going to make our pizza soggy. Second, we're going to want some freshly grated Parmesan for that extra layer of saltiness and nuttiness. To start actually making pizza, turn your oven to the highest temperature that it can go. For me, that's 550 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a pizza steel in the oven and that's going to need a preheat for at least 30 minutes before we can put a pizza on it. From my testing, a preheated pizza steel is the biggest difference between a floppy pizza and a crispy, crunchy one. So if you're serious about za, I recommend investing in one. While our pizza steel and oven preheat, we're going to start stretching out our dough. Liberally flour your work surface and gently lay your pizza dough on the flour. Sprinkle some more flour on top to avoid sticking, and we're going to start by pressing in an inner circle to form our crust. From here on out, we're going to avoid pressing down on the crust to maintain its shape. At the beginning of our pizza shaping, we're simply going to press down on the pizza with our fingers from top to bottom, which is going to gently expand the circumference of our pizza. Press your way through, avoiding touching the crust, and rotate 45 degrees. From here, we're laying one hand on the edge of our dough, not touching the crust, and taking the other hand and gently pulling the opposite end. Then, make a quarter turn and repeat. Within 1 to 2 rotations, your pizza dough is going to be about 80% of the way there. At this point, I like to rest the dough over my knuckles, making sure not to poke a hole in my dough, and let gravity continue to stretch the dough out. I'm going to use my work surface as a stop to avoid letting the dough stretch too much and rip. Let the dough naturally fall down on the counter and rotate the pizza dough 45 degrees to maintain an even circular shape. You should end up with something like this, a large circular pizza dough with a visible crust. And our dough is thin enough that I can start to see my fingers through the pizza dough. I'm going to transfer this pizza dough to a cutting board that I use as a pizza peel with a little bit of flour on the bottom to prevent sticking. Test to make sure your pizza slides before we start piling on toppings. Now we're ready for the sauce and the cheese. I started out with 2 spoonfuls, but 3 ended up being the perfect amount for me. Use as much or as little as you'd like. Just make sure you get the sauce all the way to the edge, and even a little sauce on the crust isn't going to hurt. Before we sprinkle on our mozzarella, add some freshly grated Parmesan for that extra layer of saltiness and nuttiness. Then goes on our freshly grated mozzarella. Just enough so we have a thin layer to cover our pizza and we can still see the tomato sauce at the bottom. The cheese will melt and spread while it's in the oven. At this point, you can add whatever toppings you want. I'm going to add some pepperoni just like the thumbnail in this video. Give your pizza one final shake to make sure that it's not going to stick, and quickly put that in the oven that's been preheated to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. Be quick because the standard home oven isn't made to maintain that high of a temperature, and we want our oven to be as hot as possible while it cooks our pizza. Our pizza is going to bake for about 7 to 8 minutes, and once we reach the halfway point, give your pizza a 180 degrees turn, as the back of the oven is usually the hottest and will brown the fastest. In just a few more minutes in the oven, check out this beautiful result. A pizza so crispy, I can take it out with just my spatula. That's just how I like it. The crust is airy on the inside and crispy on the outside. The cheese is melted perfectly and isn't oozing out any oil. Just look at the bottom of that crust. Perfectly browned and crispy. The smell of this pizza with its basil and tomato is insanely appetizing. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, this is the top level of pizza making that can be achieved at home in just a few hours.
Boom.
Chewy in a good way, herb-infused sauce, and a blend of cheese that will add meltiness and saltiness. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, give this video a like and support the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are on this recipe, and until my next video, I will see you all next time. Excuse me while I go finish my lunch. Peace!